Now, we need to talk about our power rankings. We had some moving and shaking in the power rankings because, well, week 3 was a moving and shaking kind of week. Number 1, Birmingham Stallions. It's easy. They're the only 3-0 team left. They're 2-0 in the strongest of the 2 divisions. They got a 22-10 victory against the New Orleans Breakers after being down 13-10 in the second half. Okay? Mostly on the strength of DeMarcus, I don't get tired, the dentist Gates, right? Getting 10 tackles and that pick to seal it. And then your man Scooby Wright running around with 17 of his own. 4 players on defense had 10 tackles or more. Remarkable showing by them, especially as the offense continues to be the kind that just doesn't seem to be about it until the second half. I know they want to be about it in the first half, but it ain't the way it's been going. And the defense has been there to really hold them up and keep up their end. And Birmingham looks like it's going to make the playoffs, but we still got a lot of the season left to go. 10 weeks in the season. We're only into week 4 this week. Okay. Number 2, the New Orleans Breakers. I understand they took an L, but they took an L to the best team in the league, and they look like they might have an opportunity to win it. As a matter of fact, you got to remember, right? Their scoring drive to go ahead, nearly 9 minutes off the clock, 17 plays. Kyle Sloter looks like that dude. Johnny Dixon is an after-the-catch monster. Jay Adams is a monster in his own right, and they're getting great production out of guys like Jordan Ellis. They did this all without TJ Logan this week as well. The defense had been great. Davin Bellamy had been great. We've seen great things from Vontae Diggs, but the difference was an offensive line. Come on, RJ, use your articles. An offensive line that had not given up a sack all season gave up 4 against the Birmingham Stallions, including Scooby Wright coming over the top to force Kyle Sloter to fumble the football, turnover on downs at the goal line. That could have been the difference in the game because remember, in the USFL, a 9-point margin is a 1-score game. They would have been in it. I think they're still going to be pretty good, and they're still got that second playoff spot in the South Division. Number 3 on the list, the New Jersey Generals. Okay? So the Generals continue to employ a 2-quarterback system, and it continues to work. They rushed for 269 yards against the Philadelphia Stars in their 24-16 win. DeAndre Johnson, 130 yards, 94 on the ground. Outstanding by him. Chris Dishman's defense gave up just 230 yards passing to the best passing team in the league. Mike Riley seems to be figuring out how to use both Luis Perez and DeAndre Johnson, even as it feels like you're telegraphing to the defense what you're going to do. It hasn't mattered because one of the things that Mike Riley said at the beginning of the season was, I'd be shocked if we don't run the ball well, and they have been running the ball very well with Darius Victor and Trey Williams. And remember, this is a team that had drafted Mike Weber and still might end up with Mike Weber at some point in the season. Number 4 on this list, the Tampa Bay Bandits bounced back in a big way to get a W. Okay, so Todd Haley told his team before the game started that he's missing his daughter's graduation to coach them against the Houston Gamblers. Please go get a win. Well, it didn't look like it was settling in as they went into the locker room down 24-13 at half. But they stormed back. Jordan Ta'amu passes for 255 yards. I think he's got 284 total to win 26-24 in a game that Kevin Sumlin had to know that they were going to win. I mean, we'll talk about it a little bit later on, but it's about finishing for them. Tampa, though, moves 2-1, 1-1 in South Division, and they got a fighter's chance, right, of getting into that playoff spot. Number 5 on the list, the Philadelphia Stars. 1-2, 1-1. They were in a battle for the top of the North Division with New Jersey. They lost this game, but they also had lost Brian Scott in the process, all right? So he suffered an injury that took him out of the game. X-rays were negative. They hope to get him back on a short week of rest when they play the Michigan Panthers on Friday night. But Case Cookus looked like he knew exactly what to do and was running the offense really well. This is a man that had over 100 passing touchdowns at Northern Arizona and had demonstrated just how familiar he was with the offense the week prior as he's talking to Brock Heward, basically quarterback to quarterback, exchanging what they're looking at, exchanging what's supposed to go on here and what Brian was seeing from the defense and where they wanted to go with the football. I thought the defense for Philadelphia is the problem. Defensive coordinator Brad Miller is going to have some things to work out, specifically in the rushing defense. Again, they gave up 269 yards to the best rushing team in the league, but Jordan Moore acquitted himself well. He had 10 tackles, including a sack. He was flying around. playing great football at that outside linebacker position. Number 6 on the list, the Michigan Panthers, who get off the schneid, right? They get a win against the Pittsburgh Maulers, and not just any win, to move to 1-2 and 1-1 in the division. They throw the first shutout in the inaugural USFL season. Remarkable display by a team that has an identity now. They started Paxton Lynch because that was the plan. In their first 2 drives with Paxton Lynch behind center, they go score. Okay. Jeff Fisher was maligned earlier this season for saying we're going to use Paxton the way that the Buffalo Bills had kind of used Josh Allen. And then you saw what he meant when they played against the Maulers. Okay. The man was taking off on QB draws and he was getting 20-yard gashes, helped them punching it into the end zone. They lose him a little bit later on in the game to injury. Shea Patterson comes in. It's nice to be able to pick on the number 1 overall pick to go finish the game for you. And they're able to secure that 24-0 win against the Maulers. They also know who they are now. They're a team that's going to run the ball and play defense. Okay. Reggie Corbin had 20 rushes for 130 yards and a TD. You got great tailbacks in Cam Scarlett and Stevie Scott to start the season, to say nothing of what you have in trees on the outside, like LaMichael Pedway and Marcus Baugh comes out of Ohio State. They've got a former Navy midshipman at safety in Sean Williams and a former captain on that Navy defense, captain of that Navy program, quite honestly. You're going to be in good shape if you're Jeff Fisher, but it's nice to get a win so that you can still be in contention to fight for one of those playoff spots in the North Division. Number 7 on the list, Houston Gamblers. Okay. After starting what I thought was pretty decent to open the season, they're now 0-2 in their division. And coming off of what I thought was the best performance that they had seen by the offense all year, right? You got 240 yards passing out of Clayton Thorson, a dude that I said needed to figure it out and did. And you got 147 yards rushing by the league's leading rusher in Mark Thompson. Feed that man the rock. It's about finishing games for them. Because in both instances the last 2 weeks, they had opportunities to win games and they just went through their fingers. I know that Kevin Sumlin's got to be frustrated about this, but he can take something from, hey, man, Reggie Northrup's playing his behind off. Donald Payne is playing his behind off. Manny Bunch is playing his behind off. Mark Thompson's rushing the ball well. Clayton Thorson's figuring it out. You got dudes. It's about putting it all together for one complete game of football. But I think they're going to try to do that later this week. And obviously, they're going to be a team to watch along with Tampa because that South Division is just loaded. And then at number 8, Pittsburgh Maulers, the only winless team in the USFL left. Really, really, really just mad about this because it feels like the Maulers have been in most games, like at least 2 of the 3 that they played, and they had opportunities to go get stuff done. And they had some really great plays. So Carlo Kemp has a punt block against the Michigan Panthers. They can't turn that into points. You're forced to pull Josh Love for Kyle Lauletta after it felt like Josh Love was going to be your starter from here on out. You're getting great play out of guys like Bailey Gaither at wide receiver. Madre London is a dude that's coming on as a tailback, a guy they signed late. Garrett Groshek is doing the work of being your battering ram up front. And your defense has been playing pretty doggone good. I've really been inspired by what Trey Tarpley has been able to do and Kayaiva Tizino and what he's been able to do. But like, you want to get a win if you're Pittsburgh. And I know that Kirby's got to be frustrated by all of this, especially this being his first opportunity to be a head coach ever, let alone in a professional setting. But they average 4.7 yards per carry. They rush for over 100 yards. They're good things to take away from this. But again, winning cures a lot. And they got to figure it out in a hurry as they're going to face the North Division's best team in New Jersey later this week. But I dare say the Maulers are going to be a team that nobody wants to play come late May. Thanks for watching this video. And remember, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any other videos on the #1 Ranked Show YouTube channel.